Well, that's cool. 2025 seems like it's been off to a great start. Just right out of the gate. It feels like it's been less than a full week. Finally it's like the 11th. So we've been through at least a little bit, but we just can't get through the month without any kind of stabilizing mental fortitude or some bullshit. But we're crazy. I feel like as soon as 2020, we couldn't even make it out of 2024 without something crazy happen. And then we make it in 2025, and the first thing, and he's like, oh, there's a fog. Everybody's getting sick. And they're blaming it on the fog. They're releasing a vaccine. They're not a vaccine. They're releasing a virus onto the world. Like they're some kind of secret villain or something. Like they're going to use the fog to somehow control the world or something crazy like that. I don't think that's the case. I know I got sick. It was foggy for a while, but maybe it's just, temperature change. Maybe it's flu season. Maybe, I don't know. It's winter. Things get weird. I don't know if it's the fog per se. I don't think we were losing our minds and we're getting sick because the fog. Like some crazy mad scientist was like, we got this. I gotta know that maybe COVID was a problem for a little bit. Maybe that was a man-made virus that no one really wanted to address to. But the fog, that's how they're gonna get us. They're just gonna release a random fog across the United States, and it's gonna just slowly sicken our own country. Honestly, maybe nowadays that's not totally that far out of reach. It could happen. I don't think it happened, or I don't think it's the thing that is happening, but definitely could. Definitely something. But I was sick for a little bit. For like the last week and a half, I guess, because of this fog. Got in my lungs. Dude, but there is a video I saw. People are just going crazy about it. They're thinking every aspect of this is some kind of conspiracy theory that we have to worry about. Well, maybe not. Maybe we don't have to stress about it so bad. Or shouldn't stress about it so bad because we might lose our mind because of it. We could just be normal people and try to act like, yeah, we'll be okay. Maybe. Hopefully. Yeah, we can just pray for it. Maybe not. But dude, there was a video I saw on Twitter that people were like freaking out about it. This is the fog giving them sick. And they were like, look, this is my dog's water bowl before the fog. I'm like, you had a picture of your dog's water bowl before the fog? What are you keeping an eye on that your dog might be getting, or what your dog's doing? And then it's like the video after. It's like, oh, the fog rolled in, and there's these crazy little microbes crawling around in the water, and it's getting into making us sick. And it's like get my dog's stomach. He's drinking it and licking my face, so then I'm getting sick. I mean, maybe you got some other stuff going on, and I don't quite think that that's the epitome of the issue. You've clearly had this planned out because you thought your dog might be getting into something. I'm not making judgment calls, but from my perspective, that's kind of what it looks like. This fog thing. People are crazy. People are thinking that it's the next end of the world. I mean, in reality, when we're going into 2025, it's kind of what it seems like at the next end of the world. We're all freaking out, not knowing what's gonna happen next. People are just they're not sitting on pins and needles. They're just like, we got some stuff we gotta. Hopefully, we can figure it out. I don't think we're bandwagoning on all of this, but some crazy shit. This fog is gonna get us all. It's the end of the world. It's like the second coming. Something's gonna happen. But it is wild. Like maybe it's just something that's happened around the same time. Like flu season happens every year. Fog happens when you're just in a place where it's like humidity. There's a science to it. It's not like it's coming out of nowhere. I'm not gonna blame the fog on me getting sick. I probably could. Wish I should. Maybe that's how I should start running around. Just being like, that's how I got sick. The government's out to get me. And then people start looking at me.
Kuechly was an absolute force of nature on the football field.
Oh, damn it. I screwed that up. But we're going to continue. I don't know. Maybe we should blame it on the fog. Like, the government. Start doing that. Blame the government for all my shortcomings and issues. Like, they're the reason. I'm holding back just like high school football player reminiscing about, like, I could have made it. I could have made it if I didn't tear my ACL. It's like, maybe you could have made it. Maybe you weren't ever going to make it. Maybe not. Maybe you just weren't athletic enough, Billy. Because if you want to be a Division I athlete, you got to be above 5'7". That's just the rule. It's a shitty rule, but it's just the rule. It's just like the government's not trying to kill you. They're trying to. They're hoping that something comes out of it. No lessons. Like a few deaths, they'll come like, that's what we fucked up on. That right there. We shouldn't be pre-deploying fog into our neighborhoods because it's gonna go off and kill something. Nah, it's gonna get us for. People are so quick to jump to conclusions now. I think it's crazy. Like the fog thing, I think is the best example. Especially nowadays when everybody is online, people are just looking for the truth. They can't find it anywhere. Everything's just all over the place. Maybe everything's a lie, but they're looking. Like it's a clear thing. You can tell that people are looking for something to believe in, and they'll jump to conclusions conclusions almost instantly. It's crazy to me. It's not really to me. It's crazy. It kind of makes sense after everything that's happened, but like the fog thing. If this is a precursor of what's going to happen in the next couple of years, we're going to be running around like mad people, like crazy people. Like we are crazy people, but maybe let's not freak out about the fog making everybody sick. There's like other shit that we should be worried about. And I think the drones might be a bigger problem. Like we can make an assumption that we don't know what the fuck those are. We shouldn't be jumping to conclusions like being like, oh, it's January, it's winter time, the fog's rolling in, it's gonna get us. It's coming. Like, no, just fucking leave it alone. Like it's fog. It's people get sick. It's flu season. It's like, oh, I got vaccinated and I still got sick. Well, yeah, well, it's a gamble. They don't quite know what virus is floating around this year. They're just like, it's maybe this one. It's a flu. Hopefully we get it. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's the beauty of it. But I am gonna blame it on the fog though. Just be like that one guy with his dog's water bowl. Just like, see? I told you they're coming. They weren't done. COVID wasn't the first straw. Like, they're coming again. They'll be back. They're always back. They're always coming back. They gotta prove their point. They'll gotta put you in your place. They gotta tell you what's wrong and have you understand what you did wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I know people are crazy and people are going to just start thinking things are going out of control. Like they might be, we don't know, but let's not jump to a conclusion right away to where everybody's freaking out. Maybe we do like one at a time, like dip our toes in the water so we're not going completely Mad Max. Because if this is anything, if this is just the start, then whatever comes floating around the internet that's like half believable, people are just going to jump on the bandwagon. They already do. It doesn't take much. If you have like some kind of interesting statement or anything, people will follow you. And you don't need a lot of facts. You probably just need one or two that makes people like stop and go, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like you don't gotta be fully prove them. Just something where they can like tug on it and then Google it's like, oh, it is have factual truth. And they'll never Google another statement about that thing again. And they'll just go on following it thinking that you're God. That's kind of what it is. But to each their own. People are crazy. Hopefully if that fog thing's real, though, people will lose their mind. They're already on the verge of it. Again, COVID, some people got cracked wide open and haven't fully healed. But it's like, the government was testing us and putting fog, getting everybody sick, testing a new chemical warfare weapon. People are going to lose their fucking mind. Maybe we should keep the American people at least a little stable this year so we're not having to gather brain gunk off the side of the road again. But that's my perspective. But it doesn't matter. really doesn't matter. I don't think people are going to lose their mind either way. And we're going to be fined by Russia. They're going to come. They're going to get everybody's going to come. No one gives a shit. But hey. Yeah. I mean, 25's already started crazy. I mean, we've already seen Britain starting to already making claims that they're going to crack down on censorship through the internet. Through everywhere. Like, even if you're an American citizen, they're going to be like, we're going to come get you. You're going to come get me. What do you mean you're going to come get me? You're going to come across waters and arrest me because I made statements online about God knows what? How's that going to work out? How is that going to work? I didn't think that was something that we can do. I thought there was jurisdictions with regions and people had certain control of certain elements of the world. I didn't think you were coming into my spot and, making claims that I made a joke. Like, oh, Parliament's fake, Queen's not real, and they come arrest me. Well, technically it's not real because it's monarchy. Monarchy is not the real government of Britain, but I think it's just a wild precedent that they've already set in place. Like, they've already talked about openly. It's like, hey, just so you guys are cautious that we'll even go after American citizens. Like, I feel like it's not that there's a line drawn. It's like, you can't come over here and go after something that's like, oh, we violated something in your country. Like, they have to allow you to come arrest us for another foreign body. I mean, Britain's been cracking. Like, the European Union, like, governments, European countries have already been starting cracking down more on online censorship and stuff like that. And, like, since, like, early 2017 or something. Like, in the beginning of all that woke stuff. I thought that statement's crazy, though. You can't. Yeah, like they're trying. It's like trying to get people to fall in line to make sure everybody's on the same page about stuff. That's kind of like the beauty of the internet, that you can't do that. You have to let free speech be and let everybody talk like it's the next big thing. Then when you start cracking down and making them feel like they can't say anything, you're making people think about, you're forcing people to think a certain way. Like, that's not how this world is, like, built up at all. I mean, that's actually, let me take a step back. That's how this world was built up, but how the things are going and that's coming to be, you can't do that. You can try. There's always going to be a place where people are going to say what they want, do what they want to say what they want to say, have, like, their open opinion. It's just how humans work. Like, yeah, there's some certain cultures you can't say certain things in public areas because of fear of persecution, but they're going to find a way to say it behind closed doors or just in family meals and stuff like that. Like, that's how, like, the censorship works. You start to constrict everything that someone's going to say, and the areas they do get to say it gets exploded into a bigger thing, when it doesn't have to be. I am curious though how Europe plans on enforcing the censorship rule across the ocean. They're gonna go jump in a boat and a plane, and if you say one wrong thing about the European Union, they're gonna go, we're gonna with that guy. We're gonna spend all their tax money, and go across seas to grab a guy who said one wrong thing about the European government. I think it's absurd. I mean, it's wild that they've been cracking down for so long. Like in 2017, like when all that woke stuff started actually making a presence for itself in the world, like European Union kind of almost like spearheaded like the persecution online for social media about freedom of speech. And I guess their rules, they kind of allow for it because you don't really get free speech. Like, in a lot of countries, you really don't get the ability of free speech. In America, you do. In America, you get, as long as you're not trying to hurt anybody or cause problems. Overall, you get free speech is, well, I shouldn't say overall. Our First Amendment is free speech. It's what we get. So, when you see people, like other countries try to crack down and kind of regulate what people are saying, I mean, it makes sense because they just don't have the ability to Like they're in their constitution and what they get to do and say, that's not in there. Like it's explicitly written in ours. It's not in everybody else's. Which is crazy. I can just imagine just one guy, one troll, just sitting in his apartment. He's like, they're over in like Jamaica or something. No, they'll never catch me. I'm gonna just troll this person online and say it. Men can't get pregnant. Send. And the whole world starts freaking out. No, Europe just starts cracking out. Like, what you said was offensive. And I wonder how that's going to work. It's going to be one person in Europe has to find it offensive and they'll go after it? Or is it going to be this whole thing to where you have to say it directly towards something or make it explicitly about the European Union or about any kind of European country? We'll find out. I mean, they arrested people already about saying, I think was that's what it was. There was the guy who taught his dog how to salute to Hitler or Hail Hitler. That's wild. Like I get it. My dog has some kind of infatuation about doing that too, but I didn't teach it or have any means to videotape him doing it and posting it online. I just don't want the smoke. But this guy clearly just filmed it and then had a whole bunch of backlash for it because people got offended. I kind of get it. Being offended, I don't think you should be. It's not directed at you. It's not meant to be a hurtful thing. It's supposed to be a joke. But again, a lot of people nowadays, I guess, can't articulate a joke. They're getting better at it. I feel people nowadays are getting better at it. They understand that the jokes do occur, but it can't get offensive or be emotionally attached. Like everything something says, like need an emotional reaction. Because that just defeats the purpose. Then you're just not, you're acting on flight or fight. And you're feeling like you need to have a fight, I guess, and have some kind of initial reaction. You don't. You can kind of just let it go, roll up your back, kind of let it be. But I guess a lot of people don't feel that way. They feel like everything is about something. It feels like this woke mind virus is going away. I hope the European Union is probably a little bit far behind. And we just had, we have like billionaires in office, I guess, but we have Trump. The fact that Elon is part of our cabinet now, or like part of the government, kind of crazy. It makes sense. Like we had the guy from was it Deal or No Deal? Not Deal or No Deal. We have Trump. We have the annoying orange, one of the biggest TV icons and billionaire like entrepreneurs in the United States as our president. Right? And people knew Trump in early 2005 and was like, yeah, that man's gonna be the president. Like, no, he's not. He's gonna be the president. This orange looking man who gets spray tans on a weekly. He's gonna be the next president of the United States. Not once, but twice. And the second time is because they bring him back and just haven't finished the job. They didn't want the senile dude to try to do it anymore. Try to shove him out of the way. Like, he can't do it. He's throwing in the flag. He's seeing ghosts. He's been on beach vacations eating ice cream for the last 2 years. Can't do it. Can't do it. Yeah. I mean, nowadays, like, Biden just giving people Medal of Honors for almost nothing. I think he's given away the most medals or presidential medals than any president, just to random people. Like, he's giving out the most presidential pardons, the most presidential medals. Like, what are you doing? What is this guy doing? The guy's like Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like, he might have helped shape some kind of the American the young generation of America, like my generation. But I don't think he deserves a Medal of Honor or like a presidential medal like right now. Maybe someday soon. But he taught, I guess, the youth of America science for a better portion of a decade. I just don't think him, Hillary Clinton, and George Soros. Are those really the people that we want to give presidential medals to? I guess maybe. It could be something. It could be. I don't know, but I think both presidents are just crazy anyways. They don't really know what they're doing. Compared to Biden at the end of 2024 just giving out presidential medals like they're candy, and then Trump running on the campaign is like, we're going to buy Greenland and Canada and Mexico. We're just going to buy them all. So I don't know I don't think that's how that really works. I don't think we could just go around buying countries like they're going out of style. It's not like buying properties. Like, there's people that live there and government regulations that have been in place and ways they've been operating for a while now. I don't think you could really go in and be, how much are you, Greenland? See how much you cost. I don't. You just gotta be like some kind of like rules in place. Like going about we probably shouldn't go about it the same way like Russia and China go about trying to take countries back, or take over countries right now. But I don't think having your son show up to a country, walk around it like it's a walk, like a look, like he's showing off, like he's going through a walkthrough for the show, like what it offers and what he could potentially purchase. Maybe not do that. Pretend to give an offer, act like that's the way to seal the deal. I didn't think we still did this. I thought everybody kind of was portioned out all their land nowadays, kind of set aside and do it. I didn't think. Okay. Yeah. Well, it'd be wild if he just so buys Greenland casually. Just, hey, I'll buy that country. I just didn't think that's how. But Greenland's fighting back. They're really sticking into the ground. They're not looking to sell. I don't think they should. I think they should be They should kind of just be left alone. I think a lot of countries should be left alone. A lot of countries probably just want to be left alone. They don't want to be dragged into the crazy shit that America has going on between like Russia and China and all these other things. They just want to take a step back. Like, dude, why are you bringing us into this? That's exactly what Greenland's probably thinking. Why are you trying to bring us into this? We were perfectly okay. And then you're like, I'm going to buy you. Like, I don't want you to buy us. And we weren't even actually on the table. You walked by one day and you were trying to push Canada out. And you're like, wow. Oh, you're right there? Let's see what you got. I'll take you too. Okay, but if Trump being able to buy Canada, that was probably more believable than him trying to buy Greenland and succeeding. I only say that now because he's been ripping them apart for like the last month and a half. He'll probably get it. It'd be wild if he didn't. Well, not wild if he didn't, but it'd be wild if he actually succeeded and purchased another country like that, like Greenland or Canada. Honestly, like, if there was any country, it would be those two. There's no way in hell he's buying Mexico. It's like the same kind of dumpster fire that Elon Musk was facing when he bought Twitter. Just so many question marks and stuff going on. And you're like, God, I don't know how we can sort this out. Like, yeah, it's going to take us, it'd be cool, great idea, but it's going to take us a lot of money, resources that I don't think we quite have. Yeah, go ahead. See if he buys Mexico. I would lose my mind. He just ends up purchasing 4 different countries. America grows by like 4 times. Like, how does this happen? This man just does not give a shit. But it is a change up to have a president again who just keeps talking and saying crazy things. We had a president who just kind of sat back and didn't say anything. Now we got a president say, start buying countries. Just start buying countries. Dude, we don't even have money to really do anything. You're like, we're to buy countries. That's the first thing. The American people were frustrated about everything going on in their country. And the first idea that he had going into office was, I'm going to buy Greenland. You're like, you're going to buy Greenland? Why? You need a winter home. You need a Christmas home. You need a home during the winter. You need a summer place. You need another one. And it's going to be Greenland. You're just going to buy the whole country and take your vacations there. That's not. How about we just kind of let it go? And figure out how to work, fix the school system for a younger generation, and maybe do a little more work. But I don't think buying a country should be on the first top of our to-do list. Could be wrong. I could be very wrong. It could be like the best thing to do. I think the main reason why he wants to buy it is because of all the natural resources that are under the country. Not saying it's a good idea, just saying it's probably why. But maybe just leave the country alone, dude. Let's try to fix what we got. I don't think going off and purchasing another country or trying to grow our influence is the best use of your time for the next 4 years or time in general. Maybe we can start here. Finish the wall before Biden sells off all of the stuff you had to build whatever wall you want. Just build the wall. Repair it, build that wall. Well, like the Great Wall of China. That was the craziest argument that he had for building the wall. It's like, how many rooms does China have? Because I got that wall. That's not quite why. But I love the effort. Just the idea that that's what he was able to run with. Just I heard that thought. I'm not a Trump supporter at all, or a Biden supporter, or any kind of supporter. But first statement about getting the wall was the fact that he put China has a wall, and they're not going into their border. Like, they're not attached to their country either. They're not building boats and floating over there. I don't think many people I think are leaving that country. I don't think a lot of people are trying to sneak in. But hey, we got people on board. You can't hate that. They're like, hey, he's right. He's got a point. He's got an idea there. Maybe he's got something to it. I don't think he has anything to it. I think these are just shit that he's thinking of. Definitely not something where it might pan out. Because not every thought's a good thought. Some thoughts are just bad thoughts. Some thoughts are thoughts that we shouldn't have. We shouldn't be like, China's got it, we should get it. Like, no. They built that wall for China to keep their country together so people don't run away. And so they're not as big as us. Like, we can't wrap a wall around the country. Just start where it is right now, like on the corner of Mexico and like the Pacific Ocean, and kind of just get it all the way up, make it stretch up the East Coast. Get like a little high rise, so they have to climb the wall when they get out of the water. Definitely switch up the dynamic of what people like to do in those areas. You can't really go in the ocean as much now. Without thinking you're someone who's trying to sneak across the border. I think it's a crazy thing. Like, they'll shoot on the road, onto the beach in a boat, just zipping on, like leaping in the air. I think it's absurd. We want to build a wall all the way around our country like China does. I just think that was like the craziest thing I've heard all year. Starting off the year and then having our presidential candidate just start off hot, being like, buying Greenland. Right. Is that where we're going to start? Out of every issue, it's like, Greenland, okay. Okay, yeah, I guess it's going to be so helpful right now. Purchasing a country like we don't need. I think it's perfect. Do it. I'm not stopping you. I'm not going to tell you no. Hell, all the American people are going to be on board about it. Let's go. Let's fucking go. People don't give a shit. People do not care. They'll just go. They'll go ham. They'll be on board with whatever you want to do. Again, go back to this. All you need is a couple facts that people are going to look up, think it's true, and go along with it. You don't need in-depth analysis. Just something that it gets their mouth watering, they can tag on to, something that's not out of their wheelhouse, a possibility that they might enjoy having. It doesn't take much. That's why I was going to get people on board about buying Greenland. Think, oh, dude, we can go there any time of year. People just can start moving there. I would probably move if we got Greenland and there's a possibility. I would for sure go and try to live there for a little bit. It's like, hey, I don't need a visa. I'm gonna hang out. I'll go live there for a little bit. Check it out. Pretty quick flight. All I need is a government ID, and that's really it. I don't know if we should buy the country, but it'd be cool to just visit, not have to jump through so many hoops to go there. Yeah. Dude, another crazy. I feel this year's already started off in just a bunch of question marks. Like, I think the next thing is like we just seen Zuckerberg actually backtracking on a lot of decisions he's made for. What is it? His fact checking services that he's had for his social media sites like Facebook, Instagram. For whatever all Meta owns, he's changed his regulation stances for fact checking, which is interesting because I don't know. It seems like it was something that started in good faith, like the fact checking service, and then it just started targeting content creators, or like not content creators, but like facts and stuff that's being discussed online that weren't necessarily false. They might not have been 100% truths, but to discredit them completely and say there is no factual information there was kind of just maybe not the best decision. I thought it was interesting because when he was talking about it, he talked about how they're using a third party site to kind of do all this. Like for a company like that, their size of it, it makes sense for them to kind of do that so they don't have to worry about those decisions. They can kind of just have them and like trust that they're going to make it, and it costs a lot of money to build a sector like that and have it run in place for a company of that size and magnitude. It just takes a lot of time, effort, and energy that they probably did not have at their disposal during that time. Like Elon could easily do what he's done with community notes. He purchased his company basically. He purchased Twitter basically as a dying company or a dying social media site. Scrapped everything, ripped apart all its employees, and it was like, all right, if you guys want to build this to the scale that we need to build it, we're going to build it that way. So he could have whatever he wanted to implement, and he was changing. He can do, but something that's integrated as metas like Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, to where all these kind of stretch out across all these platforms. It's a little harder because then you don't have the manpower. You have a lot more of a site to comb and manage. That just makes it harder for people to do. I'm not quite sure that. We'll see. It is interesting because, like during the presidential election too, you can see Zuckerberg like slowly transitioning more to the right, or just more of a central icon. And I don't know what's happened to him. I think he looks like a person now. Before he kind of just looked like an animated Sims character hanging out. He looked like that stereotypical dude who all he does is code and build shit and has no flair. And now, I guess he's been taking jiu-jitsu. Dana White is now on the board of directors for Meta, which is wild. All those little things are changing, and it's not like Zuckerberg, what's going on with you, dude? You take some new hobbies, want to change some perspectives on the world. It's probably a good thing. You kind of not such in this mindset of Silicon Valley and like this liberal idea. You kind of have another opposing figure who is very intense on free speech. And I think a part of it is like nobody really knew how to handle these situations or handle this whole thing in general, and I thought, oh, maybe if we just cleaned it up so much and we're able to talk a certain way or like cancel certain things, it might work out. And then you kind of see that it's just a giant transition in the world completely, and you see Zuckerberg changing too. Like personally, I think he's more of an approachable guy. I feel like now you see someone that looks like you can have a conversation with. You're not worried about everything he's gonna say, or you're not worried about, I don't know, less serial killer vibe, more I'll be your friend, not maybe this guy has a dead body in his basement or has a secret life to where he just hangs out and doesn't do. He's got a secret. That's kind of what he looked like. He was some dude who just was like hiding something. Now he looks like a dude who just out of college or some kind of was in a frat for a little bit. It was a computer engineer. Like, that's kind of the vibe he gives, which is respectable. Probably a better vibe, more approachable. I respect it. But I think it's a point of that you can see things are changing from this. Like social media, is kind of the world and pop culture itself are making it dip. It's not just these loud, annoying, one-sided people, but I think more of a majority of the country. We'll see how it goes. I'm curious how these fact checks will work. Like, not fact checks, but community notes. I think it'll change the dynamic, like social media completely nowadays. If these things are actually fully implemented to the best of their ability. Because then you have people who are going to weigh in and people who like might actually be in the situation who think it's like a real thing and get to weigh in on it instead of it just being pushed to the side, and people who are actually there just get discredited. Like, what do you mean? No, it doesn't exist. I was there and I saw it. It personally, to me, it feels like it just gives more power back to the people online instead of it just being one-sided or someone calling the shots and dictating how this is going to be perceived or how this is supposed to go. It might take it back to how the internet kind of was, just on a bigger scale. Like, you're forced to filter through it all, make your own judgment decisions. Like, there's crazy stuff online, but you just don't go to it and know that there's different like rabbit holes you can go into. Be interesting. I do think it's funny. He does look like he looks nowadays, Zuckerberg, he just looks like a guy that you can go hang out with. Not a guy that he looked okay, but you can tell he just looked like a dude who coded all day. He didn't have another aspect to his life. He probably didn't, though, for God knows how long. It was like, I think last year, it was the mixture of the thing that did, I don't know if that was last year, but it was the video of him holding the American flag, riding on a surfboard or a waveboard behind a boat. That's character. I think it's like around the time he started doing jiu-jitsu. So all this is connected. It might be. All of it might be connected. But I thought he did jiu-jitsu for a while. But the fact that, like, I don't know, you listen to the last podcast he did with Rogan. It's you kind of get more of his personality. He doesn't seem as tense, which is probably because like part of the reason of like part of it being that it's the second one. He's done this before. He's talked about it, and he kind of gets to just talk about whatever. He's not stressed about it. He owns this company, and since like guys like Elon Musk are already being like this big, brave, bold face, it makes sense to him to like take more of a risk because there's like a high chance for reward when they're authentic and being able to be on the side of the people and in a little bit of a way. To make it look like that they're not so out there and like isolated, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, it makes them feel like people rather than people that are just like hiding somewhere. It gives like a different perspective on the person, especially for guys who are on like social media sites. You have everybody's personalities on those things and they get spread across. Like, maybe you should too, like, have some kind of personality where people are excited about seeing instead of just some random thing that, oh, this guy's a little bit, this guy's interesting. What do you got going on? Why are you in this boat? Why are you in this way? But I don't know. I think this year's going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, but it is going to be interesting for the next like year or a couple of years. As long as Trump, probably most of the time when Trump's in office, it's going to be weird, be interesting. It's going to be different. We'll probably see a lot of things kind of shift and change. Probably see more pictures of Zuckerberg doing jiu-jitsu and firing guns like he's a redneck. Or like some hick riding in a pickup truck. That's going to be a crazy thing. You just see Zuckerberg, Trump, and Elon Musk like riding in Humvees with American flags hanging out the back. Like, oh, I guess that's the American dream now. I guess that's kind of what we're looking at. It's not quite the same as it used to be, but hey. All right. Well, I think I beat everything. I tried to beat everything. For me, I probably beat everything to death that I can think of. I don't got anything else left. I might have some more, but we're just getting back. We're trying to figure this out. We're trying to like piece these together. So, trying to do thing, just me. And so 3 other Nimrods I do this with, but we'll see how this works. All right, peace.